Yo, it is Guido coming at you with a tactics talk. Back to Battletech. I'm going to go over a few things that I've learned in the UI and then we'll go through another battle. Just so that everyone understands how I got here. I have done a few reloads along the way. I'm not doing it hardcore where I accept whatever happens. I've made multiple mistakes along the way and had entire lances wiped out as I learned the game. So I have reloaded on several key areas. Maybe one time when I go through later on, I'll do another playthrough where I just go hardcore. But I've learned a few things on the UI over and above what I did on the first video. Details, a couple things that I had issues with to begin with actually had fixes or had workarounds or things that they had thought about. So I just want to go over a couple of those with you. First thing is, got this Manage Tasks button right here. You press on this, you can actually change the order in which they do the tasks. And now these are the only items you can change moving around, which mech gets fixed first, that kind of thing. Obviously glitch is hurt, so it's going to take 11 days and you can't manage that task and you're not going to speed up the ship upgrade. But as far as which one of these mechs gets worked on first, you can actually change that, so that's actually pretty cool. Other things about this basic area here, it would be nice over here. I've got medical points and mech tech points. Unfortunately, there's no breakdown of where I get those points. It would be nice if they had a list of which items, which upgrades on your ship, which bonuses were currently in effect for the various things that happen along the way. So haven't found that. If it exists somewhere, I do not know. My morale's at 50, so I've maxed the morale along the way. We'll talk a little bit about how you do that down in the engineering bay. And of course, as I said last time, some of the random events will give you bonuses on that as well. I'm here on Ryan's Fate, which is a planet that I'm orbiting now, and I'm in the Argo. One thing I complained about last time is I said you had to do multiple clicks to get somewhere. For example, you go to the barracks and then you go in here, which is really not useful, and you've got to click on that. Well, that's not exactly true, because what you can do is if you highlight, you'll notice that it says Mech Warriors off to the right. And if you go here, you can go to Contracts, Darius, or Alexander. And what that does is you just highlight that, go there, and then I go directly into the barracks and I can start messing around with the pilots right there. So let's go back to the command center. I don't think there's much really to add there. You can talk to these guys, as I've said. Remember, you go to the contracts. The ones that don't have the planet next to them mean that is there at that world that you're currently orbiting. I will say that these skulls are a kind of relative difficulty, but there are certainly differences between different two-skull missions. Some of them are harder than others. That's just the way it is. So these are not kind of analog necessarily. This should be harder than a two-skull mission, but it may not really. And if it's a four-skull and a two-skull, I think you can expect the four-skull to be considerably harder than the two-skull. But when you're talking about a 2.5 and a 2, they could actually be swapped as far as difficulty goes on there. There's not a whole lot more to add on what's going on this UI. If we go over to the barracks, take a look at the Mech Warriors. Another thing I found out is this little title. He's a tactician, he's a flanker, he's a scout. That is dependent on which one of these specialties you take. And note that you can have 2 of the lower level specialties. I'll show you one who's already done it. And only 1 of the higher level specialties. So you really have to plan out how you want your guys. I've kind of randomly picked them myself, so I haven't got into that too much. If you go to the forums, especially the Reddit forums, there's quite a few posts on how to min-max your characters and what type of mech they should be driving. I'm not worrying about that this time, but you can see 10 is the highest you can get on any of the skills, and I've got quite a few guys that are getting kind of close to that. Obviously, like most games, the higher the level, the higher the amount of experience it requires to unlock it. For example, a flanker then is this particular skill in gunnery, this one in piloting, and then taking the ace pilot perk or whatever you want to call it, and that's a flanker. And if you look up here, I have another flanker, and she has the exact same thing. Glitch right there. So that's a flanker. A vanguard is guts, tactics, and then the upper level one on tactics. A lancer is 2 in gunnery and 1 in guts, so you can see how that kind of works. And of course, here's a recruit. This is a new person I picked up, Riddler here, and she has not picked up any of her first skills yet. So once I click one of those and take one of those, she'll get that title for whatever it is. Service record's kind of cool. It gives you the total amount of deployments, how many mech kills. Holy cow, 53 times, which surprised me. I didn't realize I'd played the game 53 times. But there you have it, 57 mech kills, days with the company 962, and some attributes that he had. This is my main character, so there's those attributes. Let's see if anyone, yeah, he's got quite a few attributes in here as well. 43 deployments, 46, all that good stuff. And that's about all that there was extra on the barracks. We go over to the mech bay. See, it kind of goes to that first screen and then jumps over to the other one. One thing I would like to see here, which I have not figured out if it has it, and I don't think it does, there's no way to kind of move the mechs around, and it gets a little confusing sorting out the mechs, especially if you've got a whole stack of them. Now I have opened up all 3 bays, so I can have 18 mechs. As of right now in the game, I have no reason to have that many. First, it's expensive, and you can only use 4 at a time, so as long as you have a couple spares along the way, you're just fine for the mech bay. But there's no way to really differentiate them. I've been looking if there's a way to add a note. I haven't found that anywhere. It'd be really nice if you could add a note so you knew which one it was, because I have done a little bit of specialization. For example, if we look at the, let me find it, here it is. You look at the Centurion, I think it is, and I can't show you without stopping work, but it's my LRM boat, so it's full of long-range missiles, which is not its stock configuration. So I've just filled it full of missiles. And I have a medium range or a medium laser boat, and I've got a couple SRM kind of boats here. Here's one, so SRM 6 plus, 2 of those, and SRM 4 plus. So this is just really all SRMs and a couple medium lasers, or maybe 1 medium laser on that thing. Like I said, 55 to 65 tons, or 50 to 65 tons is what I'm running with. Another thing that's good to note here that I didn't realize, I was having a hard time trying to figure out which hard points the mechs had, and for the most part I was figuring I had to go to refit and get in here and finally go, all right, well, what do they have? And I had to look up here, and it was hard to tell which hard points they have, but it's actually exists in multiple places. Here's one right here. If you're in the refit area, then you know what its total is. And in fact, when you go back into the main bay and you click on one of them, it's here as well. So that gives you an idea of what kind of mech it is. So this one is basically a laser mech. It's got 6 hard points for lasers. This one is pretty much a missile boat. It's got missile hard points with a couple extra. It's actually missile and ballistics. Go over the Enforcer, mostly laser with 1 ballistics. So you can kind of see what exactly you're dealing with before you dive in there. Another thing is you can change the patterns down here. That's something you do over in the captain quarters. I haven't messed with that, but you can really customize the colors of the mech up there. I don't worry about that too much, but it is there if you're interested in it. So those are a couple things I thought about showing you guys for the UI here. This is the button that sends a mech down to storage, and you have to send the mechs to storage in order to sell them. And when you send them to storage, it also removes all equipment. So that's my storage right here. I showed you this last time. These are the parts I have for various mechs. All the way up, I have 2 of 3 for an Orion. That's a 75 ton, so I don't own a 75 ton yet. Be nice to get that. And this really seems to be the way they're in there, a little bit random. Now I've got 2 of 3 for the Orion 1-V, and I've got 2 of 3 for the Orion 1-K, which differentiates the weapons just a little bit between each mech. So that there's actually more than just the named mech. There's differences within the class itself on what they're carrying. So that's the storage right there. Jumping down into engineering, you can see that I'm pretty far along. I've almost got all the upgrades. Looks like I just need to upgrade my drive system, and I should be able to upgrade after my drive system my Gamma Pod, although I am in the middle of upgrading one, which is hard to tell which one here. I guess I have to go back to the Argo to look at it. So it looks like 2 more upgrades, and I've completely upgraded the Argo. I have all the bonuses that the thing has currently. And that's what I was talking about earlier about ship upgrades. A lot of these things down here, personnel and medical, for example, this one, +1 morale. So that's one of the things that has added to my 50 morale. And it's just kind of difficult to figure out what it is. It tells me what the morale is, but it doesn't really give me an idea of where all my bonuses come from. So that's unfortunate. That would be a nice thing to have. And if it exists, I'm not exactly sure where it is. Nothing really extra to show you on navigation other than you can go straight to the star map if you want to. So let's go to the command center. We're going to go to contracts. And we'll pick this 2-star one. Since I'm recording, I want to win, right? Negotiate. This is that salvage thing I talked about last time. So what that means is I am going to get 14 pieces of salvage, and I get to pick 3. So I get to prioritize 3 of them. I get to pick 14. I'm also going to get 59,600 credits. If you want to just go credits, you do this. You can also, if you want, increase your rep by taking less money. All the way down to 0 right there. So it really is best to go max salvage. I mean, if you want to increase your rep, you can do that. I'm not really sure what the exact bonuses for increasing your rep is. Seems like maybe some of the missions give you a bonus. The little pop-up things that happen, not missions necessarily, but little pop-up things. If your rep's higher with certain factions, it does better. What I actually need to do here, I forgot, is I need to advance the timeline so I can repair my mechs. There we go. So we got all that done. I don't need glitch because I have enough mech warriors. That's one reason why you should have a few extra in there. So let's go back to the contracts. If you do it this, what I just did, we basically canceled that, so we got to go back in and negotiate it again. Click accept. And now I've got the mechs and arrow. I'm actually going to take, let's see, I want a good mech warrior in this long range missile boat, so I don't want anyone bad in that. Let's see what does glitch have, or behemoth I mean. Alright, let's do that. And I'm actually going to take old God out because I want to run Riddler and get some experience in a relatively low threat kind of mission. It's just a 2 skull, so it should be okay to have a relatively low skill mech warrior in there. So I need to destroy an enemy scout lance. Don't have any intelligence about other possible enemy forces, which probably means there are some.
Command interface.
And we will jump on in. Okay, we're going to clear the lance out. You see that Riddler's new and actually has some extra hit points, but that's because I have a cockpit mod in that particular mech, so that will add some hit points to them. I can show that at another time. Now, Behemoth is in what is essentially a medium mech. The rest of them are in a heavy, so as far as, actually I guess I got 2. Oh, it'll let me do all of them. Alright, so I'm not in a battle phase right now because we don't have any context, so I can pick whichever one of these I want. However, if I was in a battle phase, then the lighter mechs go first, and Behemoth is basically in a smaller mech, in a medium mech, with the Centurion and a laser boat. So she will usually show up first, but because I want to reserve her in case I meet something, so I can use those LRMs on them based on their range, I'll take somebody else first. And the first thing to do here is take a look at, alright, this is where I'm going. That's where the lance is, so let's see what we got up here. We got some water maybe we can fight, and it looks like we're going to be looking across the ridge. The first spots we may have are somewhere around here in this little low-lying area looking up. Possibility of going that way, but that doesn't really do us any good because it's a long walk up and around. I suppose I could go up this road as well and come all the way around behind them, but I'm really doubting that what they have is that big a deal. And we're on the actual corner of the map. See, I can't actually go any further. See that line right there? So really it's either go up this road and over that bridge and around behind them, or just go into their face and look for them. So I'm just going to kind of no respect these dudes. One thing about sprinting so far out in front is you can get lit and hit before you can retaliate. So we're going to be a little bit more cautious. We'll just move up to here. You'll see as the sprint goes further, I get more defense chevrons right there. I'll actually bring him forward. I think I just ran my, did I? Yeah, I may have just ran my LRM boat forward like I said I didn't want to do. That's alright. Just bring everything forward. Usually, from what I have found, your first move, you don't see anything. It's unusual to see something on your first move. It has happened, but not very usual. The other thing I don't like about this is I don't know if there's any way to see the whole map. There's no kind of radar mode map. Everything is basically visual, so there's no down here like a radar top-down view kind of showing you what's going on. That is a little bit annoying. And here you see Behemoth goes first. So I'm going to change that to Medusa with the medium lasers. Now, here's a problem. It's bottlenecked, right? Medusa can't actually get through there. I could jump up for it. That is a possibility. So let's just do that for giggles. Yep, there they are. And we end up lighting up a bunch of them. Got a Shadow Hawk. We got a little Locust right there. He comes running down as fast as he can. Fighting from water is pretty good. Fighting from water allows you to... He's got quite a few defense chevrons. Fighting from water allows you to shoot and not generate as much heat. So this is a bummer. I've got to go all the way around just to get shots on this guy, and that's fine. Actually, what I want to do, I think, is...
Waiting for orders.
Behemoth actually has, I think, the move after... No, she doesn't. So I changed people around. Alright, this is interesting. I need to make a decision here. Let's save her, so I will go with... My concern here is that I'm going to block the Kintaro from getting his shots, because I'm going to walk into this little spot here. I'm going to get my shots here, which are not fantastically good shots. I'll be lucky to hit this thing, really, I think. He had so much defense. I'm only able to take off one chevron. He moved so fast, so that's not great. Wait for them to go.
Good to go.
Now, here's something I didn't realize. I actually have this guy ready to roll. I'm going to try to use some of my mobility to put a little more defense on myself. It's typically better to move and fire just because of the defense that you get. I just destroyed his head with a single shot, so got lucky. Also did a lot of other damage to him. So it takes him down. It's tiny mech. Tiny dancer. Tiny mech. But they can be irritating if you ignore them too long. So I've sort of gummed the works up here with this. That's not really great. I'm going to sprint forward with him. See, I can't get anywhere and I can't jump. Guess I can come around this way. That's not ideal at all. Alright, let's try with Behemoth first. We're going to take some of these shots here. Hold on a minute. No, Behemoth's not really in the way, so we'll go ahead and just fire at the Shadowhawk. Good percentage to hit. A lot of LRMs going at him. And he's bulwarked, or not bulwarked, but, well, he may be bulwarked, I don't know. But he is guarded, more than likely, entrenched, so I didn't do a lot of damage to him, but I did some pretty good knockdown. There's something up there with some long-range missiles, so that's where the fourth one is, I'd imagine. Oh, there must be vehicles. There we go, so we got reinforcements. So, just like I suspected there. I've really messed myself up a bit here. I don't have any great way to get into this, so I'm going to have to go here.
Full throttle.
That's too bad. Now what I'm worried about is these dudes, this reinforcements coming up to this ridge. So, oftentimes when you see a map like this where you say, oh, I could actually go up around the long way and maybe get around behind him, that may have actually been a pretty good idea based on reinforcements. This first lance is only 3 mechs, though, which is nice. See, it says 33% destroyed. Since I killed one of the 3, that way I know there's not an extra one. And right off the bat, I'm getting my structure ripped off. They must have hit the exact same spot multiple times. Look at that, right on the arm. Alright. So now, we got to get forward here. We're going to break this bottleneck. We'll move up Riddler first. Going to go after this one.
This is everything I've got.
Apparently it's everything she's got. Enemy's going to get a turn. So we got a 55-ton coming down that hill. Bring the Kintaro forward. Lay another
All weapons.
salvo on this. And so far, like I've said before, right now I'm just using brute force. I'm not paying close attention to maximizing salvage.
Enemy mech destroyed.
There's called shots. There's lots of ways to maximize and min-max your lance so they have great knockdown and things like that. But for the most part, I'm ignoring that for the ability to just rage forward and fire everything I've got into these guys. I'll be honest with you, so far it hasn't mattered on my salvage too much. But I would imagine as you get to the higher levels of the game, you might be wanting to... You see that one mech you need, right? Or that you want. it would be important then to min-max the whole salvage thing and make sure that you don't wreck everything that you're shooting at.
Confirmed.
So what I'm doing here then, just to explain it, that red line means I have a shot on them. You'll notice that I'm changing my facing. Some of this I'm not explaining as I go. I'll try to break it down a little bit more. I did it on the last video, but the red line means I have a shot. So I'm going to left click the mouse and I can do all these things. I can take a precision strike if I want. Let's go ahead and try that just for giggles. I'm going to precision strike this guy, and then that brings up this one. What do I want to try to hit? I'm going to go after the center torso, even though that's going to wreck it, just to see what happens here. Alright, so I critted the LRM-10, but didn't do a whole bunch else. Once I get control back, we'll take a look and see what I did to that center torso. Now that used some of the morale. I'll show you that in a minute here. So he comes around. I'm standing in the water here. What? Oh, the right arm goes. So they just really tore the crud out of my right arm. It's been a while since I've had a piece of me fall off. So you can see that my morale's gone down a little bit here. I have 64%. So you can only do those kind of called shots and special things every so often without losing morale. And eventually, I'm assuming it's too low to be able to use those skills anymore.
Firing on target.
So I've lost one of my weapons on the right side.
Critical hit, Commander.
Alright, so there's at least 3 of them up there. He didn't get quite close enough to shoot.
Commander.
Let's see. Yeah, let's go over here.
Roger that.
Trying to give him quite as much cover. A little bit more standoff. I should be in the water now. There we go. So I'm in the water. It's going to increases the unit's heat-seeking ability by 50%. So that's very good because this particular mech runs pretty hot.
Everything.
And I forgot to look at that center torso like I talked about to see what that one precision strike did.
Dropped it.
But again, just brute forcing this at the moment. Alright, so there's another one.
They got a sensor lock on me.
Sensor lock. So let's see. Bring Guido over to here. I'll kind of tuck up against this, see if I can minimize being shot at by at least this guy. We got a Wolverine up there.
All weapons committed.
Oh, not really great. A little damage on him anyway.
Warning. Heat exceeding recommended level.
That's interesting because I thought... See, that's a bug that I've read about. Because of his bonuses, he actually isn't going to... He's actually not exceeding a level. See that little red... The top red button, I can't do it without moving my mouse. But that red bar... Then there's a little red line that's the overheat. The verbiage came up and said overheating, but he really wasn't. And that has to do with some of the bonuses that he has.
Move order received.
Let's see what we can do with this guy now.
Taking the shot.
Pretty decent hit, but not enough to knock him down. It really looks like this enemy lance is only 3.
I'm listening.
He's not going to be able to get to any kind of shot. Actually, I might be able to see that one. Let's see what happens here. Yep. Oh, wow. Interesting. I'm out of range. That's too bad. So we'll go guard, or brace. I mean, I keep calling it guard, but it's brace. And this is not ideal because now I'm fighting kind of on 2 fronts. I don't really like doing that. Splitting up my mechs between multiple different ones that I'm attacking. I really need to take him down.
It's okay. Damage is light.
The question is, there we go. So I will be able to get him up and get shots on this guy. So it looks like I've lost one of my medium lasers. Nicely, it's nice that it's not one of my pluses. In fact, the only one that didn't have some kind of bonus is the one he shot, at least for now. Not really a great hit on him. Didn't do much of anything. Stripped some armor, that was about it. The Shadowhawk's coming in. Unfortunately, he's probably going to go after my wounded one. Yep. Thank goodness he missed. Nope, he didn't miss totally. This might be a time when it's be good to get this quick draw, kind of pull him back out of the fight for the moment. That's really going to overheat me. So we're going to drop the lasers. Oh, that's not good. Okay, we're just going to take the overheat, but won't get the shutdown. And once again, just not enough to knock him down, or didn't really breach anything. Not great.
Enemy mech. Critical damage detected.
I did knock him down. Fantastic. Never mind. Now that he's down, now he's got the shoot and move kind of perk. So I'm actually going to bring him around here. We can move back and fire later. That'll just pull him out of the battle for now. And I did overheat a little bit, so I got some damage. We're going to hit the guy that's down. We're going to call shot to the center torso and try to just take him out so he doesn't get up and shoot again. I'm not sure. There we go. Taking him down. 33%. That does let me know. I'm fairly confident there's only 3, and it turns out there is only 3. Now I got a Wolverine coming in. And they're really just pounding the wounded one.
Armor breach. Internal damage.
Yeah, he's taking a whooping. I don't... Oh, that was odd. He tried to multi-target, and he shot at a guy that's behind a rock. Well, there's a bit of a bug right there, I'd say.
Right here.
I'm just going to walk up to this guy and let him have it.
Take this.
I'm not sure that voiceover is, wow. I'm not really sure what to say about that. Oh man, they're really going after him. Man, I got lucky. Once again, those plus lasers did not take a hit. Let's see now if I can... Man, I just cannot get away from him having a shot on me, can I? How about a jump somewhere? Oh, there we go. How about this? No? Ah, that's what I want to do right there. Even though it gets me closer, at least I'm not being shot by this guy. Okay, got his left arm. Now can I get down? Ah, that's not good. Not good. I was really hoping I could come around that corner and shoot him. But I'm going to have to just accept a shot on the guy up top. Actually, what I may do here is just brace and cool off. I think that's what I'll do. Which only leaves Behemoth
Commander.
with long-range missiles on this guy. I may even try a precision shot. This also has breaching, so let's go precision to him. Go after that center torso. See what we can do here. Not much of anything but a knockdown. That's alright. That's going to let them have a new turn. Yeah, he's going to come right to the edge and shoot straight down on my guy. That's not good. Oh, good. He's a little overheated to appear. Or just fired a medium laser. No idea why he would have just done that, but he did.
I'm here. Position confirmed.
Go after that center torso. Not much to it anymore. There we go.
Target neutralized.
Now that's going to overheat big time. It's alright, we'll accept the internal damage. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Not quite the damage I wanted on him. The other thing about where we're fighting, this is the desert biome, which makes it a little worse as far as heat goes. We'll just move over here. That's a pretty useful skill, actually, the shoot and then move.
Warning. Heat exceeding recommended level.
We're just going to hammer this guy. I'm not even going to call shot. I'm just going to let him have it. That's going to overheat this one as well, but we should be able to knock him down.
Scored a critical hit.
Got a knockdown. That's good.
The heat is frying my internal.
One thing I've learned is that it's not a hugely big deal to overheat. We're going to have to sprint around. I couldn't quite get a shot on him just by moving, so I'll sprint. It's not a hugely big deal to overheat, especially if you can get that damage in that you need. Let's see, where's... Yeah, this is the one I want to use because
On my way.
not going to overheat. So we'll do this. We're just going to after the center torso, see if we can kill him off. Did not do what I wanted to, but I got the AC-5 destroyed.
You didn't like that, did ya? Orders.
Let's see here. I just want to get this over with. Come on, destroy that thing. There we go. So,
Tango down.
really just dropped the hammer on him. I overheat. More structure damage. That's going to cost me money. I didn't have to do it that way. I could have been more clever about which mech I picked and where I fired and all that. But as you can see, the brute force method works pretty good. Looks like my reputation with the mercenary review board has gone up. The Arano Restoration's a little happier with me right there. Those are the people I'm working with. I got a 20% increase by taking on the reinforcements and killing them off. This is the damage I got. I lost an arm, so I'll show you how that's fixed in a minute. And I get those 3 that I pick, so I get 3 that I can pick right off. One thing I forget to do often is you need to scroll down and take a look if there are any special pieces of equipment, any plus pieces of equipment or interesting things that you don't necessarily find all the time. And it looks like there's 1 plus AC-5 here. And that's worth about 190. Then we look at the mechs. Can I build a mech out of any of this thing? I got a 2H Shadowhawk and a 2D, which doesn't help me a whole bunch. And I've got a 6K Wolverine and a 6R. So it doesn't look like I can actually build anything. I think what I'm going to do, though, is I'm just going to prioritize the heaviest stuff I can find here. 6K, 6R, 2H, 2D. None of them are the same bloody thing, but we'll just do this. So I've got a piece of each one of those. See how many more I pick up. I got a few more. Did I get that plus? Sometimes you gamble. Nope, gambled and lost. I did not get that plus weapon. That's too bad. So we'll go ahead and continue on. And we'll go back to the UI, back onto the Argo. I think I even took a wound maybe in there. Not sure. Oh, here's one of those things. Fantastic. I can show you. So travelers in need. They need medical supplies. Pox antivirus. Apparently I don't have that. That's an option at some point. I guess you can acquire it. I don't happen to have it. So I can stay out of it. I can sell them medical supplies or I can give them some. So I'm going to actually give them some. I lost a medical point. That's interesting. And I gained 1 reputation with the Arano Restoration. So you can be the mercenary guy in there. You can try to help them. You can switch it up as you go. No big deal. Glitch out of action for 8, although I think she already was. So let's go to the mech bay. I'll show you the repairing stuff. Go to the bays. Alright, the easy ones are these guys. They don't have any internal or arms torn off or anything. Well, they have internal, but they don't have any weapons destroyed. So you can just click repair and your guy will automatically repair it. You get the little clock. Same thing for him. We'll repair. But you can see the little exclamation. He needs actually a refit. See how you can't repair it? So we're going to have to go like this. Now we get into refit. So the first thing you got to do is replace the arm. And you got to repair any internal stuff here. And it will automatically pull out the stuff that's broken. So I'm down a jump jet heavy and a medium laser. So if I come over here, I can then get rid of everything but the lasers. I'm sorry, lasers. There we go. And I'll look at these and go, all right, what can I put in here? Well, it was a medium laser. So that's the hard point it was on. So I've got a plus accuracy medium laser. So I'll put that in there. And I'm missing a jump jet H. So we'll go to equipment, jump jet H, which was probably where jump jet H, probably on this side here, because there's 2 on each side. You can really put it anywhere that it allows you, but we'll just put it on the side it was. And now we are basically all fixed up. There'll be an alert. There's a couple alerts up here if you're missing equipment or you're under tonnage. Say I put my stuff on, I forgot something, then I might be under tonnage and there will be an alert up there. But we're all good. That's been all repaired. I'll hit confirm. This tells you the cost of everything. It looked pretty expensive actually, and I'll confirm. So that was pretty costly in repairs.
Right. I'll get it in the schedule.
And there we go. So I don't have any full mechs in storage. I've got a couple being repaired. Next thing I will do is save. Always a good thing. And we'll go back to the contracts. Take a look at it. There's still one on this planet, so no real reason for us to leave. If I go back to the Argo, though, I'll have a good idea of how long it's going to take me to fix this stuff. So let's go ahead and just fast forward here as far as run the days off. And there's my mechs. What I do there is I'll save right before I do anything different. And now I'm going to move on and go to the next battle. So there you go, some more Battletech gameplay. A couple things on the UI that I learned and just kind of showing you more of the brute force method. Here's something I just noticed. This is interesting. I do have a negative here. And that was from what happened. So it's interesting that it shows it in red, but it doesn't really let me know what all the other bonuses are. So apparently 8 is my standard for whatever I have as far as my ship goes. And when it's red, you're negative for some reason, and that's because I helped some people. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you learned something here, that's good. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments down below, and we will see you.